I'd like to welcome you to a screencast on lesson 7.2, which is solving systems using substitution. You should have this note sheet in front of you, and what we're going to start with is hopefully you've got your name, today's date, and the hour up top, and you'll always have this to have access for yourself, and hopefully you can get through this without much problem. So let's start with the first example. Notice you have an example up top in which you can look off of. Remember, this is the end result we're looking for, is a solution, which is a coordinate with an x value and a y value. Let's jump into number 1. Because I know that y is equal to 2x, what that allows us to do is it allows us to take the 2x and substitute it for y. Now that we can substitute 2x in for y, we have a variable, and only one variable, in which we can solve for. So to solve this equation, we would distribute, regroup, eliminate, add, subtract, multiply, divide. Just to remember our steps. The first step we have in this situation is going to be regrouping. So after we regroup, we take 3x plus 2x, and that makes 5x. Because 5x equals 10, we can now go to our final step, which is multiplication division. Hopefully you're to the point now where you're starting to realize those steps. And when you divide 5, you have x is equal to 10 divided by 5, which is 2. We have our x value. At this point, we still need our y value. So in order to solve that, we take our number for x and we substitute it into either of our first two equations. Because this is a point that is a solution of both, it does not matter which one we substitute our value in for. So because y equals 2x looks like it's fewer steps, that will be the one I substitute for. So y equals 2. Remember that x is also 2, so y now equals 2 times 2, and we know that 2 times 2 is 4. At this point, we have our solution for both, and that solution equals 2, 4. If you wanted to check this, you could substitute that back here. 4 is y equal to 2 times my x is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 does equal 4, and that checks. So there's your help and assistance with number 1. Moving on to the second one. Hopefully you can see immediately what needs substituted. Because x is solved for, we take negative 3y, substitute for x, and that would be 15 times negative 3y minus 2y equals 94. Multiplication is going to happen first. So that's negative 45y minus 2y equals 94. When we combine these two using the regrouping step, we would have negative 45 minus 2y, which is going to be negative 47y, and that equals 94. And at this point, we're on to our last step. Hopefully you can see that that is division. And what we need to divide by is going to be negative 47. Divide by negative 47. And then 94 divided by negative 47 is going to leave us with y to equal negative 2. Now that we have solved for y, hopefully we see now that this solution gets substituted back into either equation up top, and because x equals negative 3 times negative 2, if we multiply those together we have what x is, which is 6. So our solution, and the answer we are looking for each of these, is 6, negative 2. Number 3 looks a little bit different, but it's the same process. Because 2x minus 10 is equal to y, that substitutes in for y. We have 4x minus 3 times 2x minus 10, and that equals 24. We recall our steps of distribute, regroup, eliminate, add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay? And at this point, we have distribution taking place as our first step. In fact, I'll do that in a different color so you can see that step more clearly. Distribution happened using the red. 4x minus 6x plus 30 equals 24. Next step would be regrouping, which we'll do in purple. 4x minus 6x is negative 2x. Rewrite the rest. Next step would be addition, subtraction. There is no elimination here. What we need to add or subtract is 30 because it's being added with my variable. To solve that, I will subtract. That zeros, leaving negative 2x to equal negative 6. And my final step would be multiplication, division. I'm all out of colors, so we'll do that in black. And divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. X in this situation would equal positive 3. Now we need to take this positive 3, okay, and we substitute it back into either situation, one or the other, doesn't matter which. I'll go ahead and do the second one. So y equals 2 times x minus 10. 2 times 3 is 6 minus 10. And 6 minus 10 is negative 4. So therefore my solution is equal to 3 as an x and negative 4 as a y. If I wanted to check this answer, I substitute for x and I substitute for y. We had y equals 2 times x minus 10, so negative 4 equals 2 times my x value is 3 minus 10. Negative 4 equals 6 minus 10, and 6 minus 10 equals negative 4. Because that works, we know that is a solution. Okay? I have assisted with the first 3 problems. You also have an example up top which you can go from and look off of. And then you have 4, 5, and 6 in which you can get help as well. If we can work through these without much problem today, I may be willing to take a look at some of the situations on your homework on 7.2. You have 1 through 12 on the front, and then you have a few questions on the back, including some word problems. So go ahead and begin your homework for the day. Use your notes to kind of help you and assist you as you go, and thanks for listening to the screencast.